Okay, in question 3 here we've got to integrate here square root of a linear term. Of course we can rewrite this as a bracket. When it's square root, the power is a half, isn't it? Okay, so bracket to power half. And then we just use that simple rule, because there's a linear term in here. Quite simply then we need to add 1 to the power here, so half plus 1 is 3 over 2. We then divide, okay, by this power, which is 3 over 2, and times by the derivative in here, which is just 2, okay, what's in front of the x. Don't forget then to put plus constant at the end, so you get then the bracket (3 over 2 times 2 is just 3, okay, plus then your c, your constant there, and we're done. So with the second part then, we've got to integrate 3 over 7x plus 2 dx. So notice this is a linear term on the bottom, okay, so it's no good putting that to power 1 and then taking it up to the power minus 1, it won't work, okay, the whole thing will crash. So we need to recognize this linear on the bottom, so we use ln, and it's really simple because you just look at what's on top, which is 3, look at what's on bottom next to this, the x, which is 7, so you get 3/7 as a fraction in front of the ln, and then it's ln of 7x plus 2, okay, plus the constant. Okay, part 3 then, we're going to integrate 5e to the 2x minus 7 with respect to x. And remember, when you integrate e, it just stays the same, okay, so I expect you to write 5e to the power 2x minus 7, so don't change any of that, but then don't forget, because it's e of 2x minus 7, you're then going to divide by the derivative of this sort of inner function and differentiate 2x minus 7, you just get 2, and then don't forget the plus constant there, okay. Finally then, we've got another evaluation, okay, so we've got to evaluate sine of 4x plus pi over 6 dx, okay, between these limits. Most important in calculus, okay, in other words, when we integrate or differentiate, we need to be in radian mode on our calculator, okay, if we've got trig functions, okay. It doesn't matter about e or any of this stuff up here, if they put limits in, that doesn't matter, but when you have trig functions, the limits will always be in radians, okay, you have to use radians, otherwise it just doesn't quite work, okay. So on our calculator, I'm going to change, you can see I'm in degree form, so I'm going to change to radians, so I'm going to press shift and set up, and angle unit is number 2, and I'm going to change it then to radians, okay. If you don't do that, you're going to get the wrong answers. Now, when you see this here, it looks quite complicated, but don't worry about it, okay? Just in here, you've just got a linear term, if you think about it, because 4x there, pi over 6 is just a constant, okay, because pi is 3.14, etc., divide by 6. So it's quite straightforward in there. Now, you just got to remember what you get when you integrate sine. Of course, when you integrate sine, you get minus cos, don't you? Okay, just think about the reverse process. So you get minus cos of this bracket, but then you've got to divide, because it's a function of a function, you've got to divide by the derivative in here, differentiate in here. It's just going to be 4, isn't it? It's just what you get in front of the x here, because you differentiate 4x, you get 4. Pi over 6 is a constant, so that becomes 0. So we then put our square brackets, because there's limits, between pi over 3 and pi over 6. Okay, it's a case then of subbing this in, right? So you get minus cos, okay, well if I put the upper limit in first, pi over 3, so 4 pi over 3, okay, plus pi over 6, divide by 4, take away then the negative of cos 4 pi over 6 plus pi over 6, putting the lower limit in, over 4. And what I kind of like to do in this case is to work them out separately. Okay, so let's just work this first term out first. So I've got minus cos bracket, so the bracket's already there, so we've got a fraction in there, so we've got 4, and we need another fraction to make it, so 4 pi over 3 plus pi over 6. Okay, narrow it down, change, divide that. No, I haven't done this right, haven't I? Let's have a look. Start again. That's better, isn't it? So I need to divide the whole thing by 4, don't I? That's right. That'll be better like that. That looks right now, doesn't it? So if I press equals there, it just comes out to be 0. Okay. And then let's work out the other one. So I've got minus then. So let's work out what's in this bracket here. So minus cos. So I need fraction button. So I need to put 4 pi over 6 plus pi over 6. Fraction button over 4. So that comes out to be, so I've already counted for that minus there, so that comes out to be root 3 over 8. So I've got 0 minus root 3 over 8, so the answer is minus root 3 over 8. You can leave it insert form like that.